Welcome to Go Get It. Today we are starting a new series of videos called SQL Server Tidbits. To start with, we will see today a very important function of SQL Server called Coalesce function. Its definition says that it returns the first non-null expression among its arguments. Let's explore it more by considering a very primitive example. We have a table called student record which has very basic detail of a student, say student ID, first name of student, middle name, last name, etc. Now assuming that we need to have student ID and student's name. You can see that the student name is made up of three column values called first name, middle name and last name. And you can also notice here that these fields are nullable fields. That means it can contain null values. So for example, the first row contains null value for first name, middle name, but last name has some values. So in such scenarios, we'll make use of Coalesce function. So we need to write a query where we will get the name of a student. So what we will do in case if it is a null value. So in such case, we can make use of Coalesce function. As you must be aware of the Coalesce word, its literal meaning is nothing but joining of some group of values. So we'll consider this example in SQL Server. Let's see how it works. So we have a table, as I told that we have a table called student record which has certain values. You can notice these values here. Now we need to write a query which will give us the student ID. Say we'll write the query, say select ID as student ID, comma. Now we need the student's name, which will comprise of values first name, middle name and last name. So we'll write Coalesce function which will accept certain parameters. In this case, we will make use of the parameter called first name separated by comma separated values we'll use. Here the sequence of parameters matters. So we'll name it as say student name. From table, what is the table name? We have student record table. So if you execute this, you will get to know the expected result. So here you can notice that we'll execute all the statements here, and you can notice here that we have in the first row we have first name as null value, middle name null value, but last name as Devraj. So as per the Coalesce function, what it does, it will return you the first non-null value from the past arguments. So here we have past arguments as first name, middle name and last name. So first name is null, middle name is null, we have last name. So we'll get the student name as Devraj or the last name. Similar is the case with next part. You can see here there is certain value in the first name column itself. So it has returned the first name value. This way Coalesce function works. So the very basic doubt comes into the mind is what is the difference between ISNULL and Coalesce function. Let's see how ISNULL and Coalesce is differed from each other. You can notice between the syntax difference, ISNULL it accepts only two parameters, check parameter and replace parameter, and in Coalesce you can pass any number of parameters. ISNULL is nothing but a TSQL function and Coalesce is ANSI SQL standard. It follows ANSI SQL standards. ISNULL is a built-in function, but Coalesce is nothing but it translates into case statements. What does this statement means? Let's see. We have return the same query which we used using the Coalesce function in the form of case statement. So what we have done here, we have selected ID, we have given a case when first name is not null, then we will display the first name. So behind the scenes, Coalesce function executes in the same form as this query. If you execute this, you will get the same set of results. And final difference, the return type or the return data type from the by using ISNULL is nothing but the data type of the very first parameters used or passed in the ISNULL function. And in case of Coalesce, return data type is equals to the data type of the highest data type precedence. What does this mean? We'll consider one more example here. We'll do this. So here you can notice that 5 is nothing but integer and current timestamp, which will return as a date time data type, which is obviously is higher in precedence than integer. So you can, as expected, as by default you can expect that the result return will be 5 here, but you can notice here the result returned is nothing but the default current timestamp. So I hope this has cleared the difference between ISNULL and the Coalesce function. Thanks for listening. Keep watching.